And this matter comes before the court this afternoon on Respondent Ms. Russell's request to modify the PPO to allow both parties to be present on certain Zoom meetings. So, as an initial matter, I would invite the parties to state and spell your names for the record. We can begin with the petitioner. Is it Miss Sutliff?
Miss Bueno.
Bueno. Uh,
Oh,
are you counsel, Miss Bueno? Or are you?
yes, I'm representing the petitioner. And I just want to clarify that we're actually here on petitioner's motion to modify to prevent the respondent from being in Zoom hearings and
Okay. All right.
emails.
And Miss Bueno, you're counsel, so you're appearing as an attorney of record?
Yes.
Okay, all right, very good. And Ms. Russell, would you state and spell your name, please?
Marion Russell, Marian Russell.
Very good, thank you. And I'll apologize to both parties in advance. It took me a minute to get ready for this. For some reason, this didn't appear on my electronic docket today, and thus I didn't bring the entirety of the file home with me. However, Lisa was able to provide me with a electronic copy of the PPO that I signed back on, it looks like in August of this year. And so I'll invite Ms. Bueno to state what you're looking to do today.
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor. So we filed this motion to modify because the PPO was granted in August of 24. It was actually extended in September of 24. Ms. Sutliff actually hired me initially to do a motion to show cause because the respondent kept coming to meetings. But once she was told by one of the I don't know if company is the right word, but one of the coalitions that she was not allowed to come to the meeting because the respondent could be there. I decided to change it to a motion to modify to protect my client going forward. The respondent has included my client in numerous emails through these groups. The respondent has also been in numerous Zoom meetings. Initially, she was there with the cameras on. Once I got involved, she was there with the cameras off. Unfortunately, these coalitions and companies are aware of the PPO, but they feel like because it does not specify Zoom, that it does not cover those meetings. And that forces my client to be afraid to really open up. There can be a lot of personal information about, where people are going and what they're doing. And, she does not open up because the respondent has been allowed to be there.
Okay, and can you tell me in more detail what those specific groups and coalitions are?
Yeah, so I listed them in our motion.
And I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me. I don't have any of the file. The only thing I have in front of me is the PPO I signed back in August.
That's okay. So I list them. There's, first of all, the Great Start Family Coalition. That is the coalition that told my client not to come to a meeting, and that's when I decided to file this motion to modify. Another one is the Prenatal Collaborative. I'm sorry, it's the West Michigan Prenatal Collaborative. There's also the Mitten Mamas. With that one, I believe the respondent has not been a part of it. We just want to make sure that continues going forward. And this other one, I'm honestly not 100%. How does
It's miigwech.
Miigwech? And I can spell that for you if you would like.
Yeah, I think you better do it.
So it's MIGWECHINC.
The respondent's not involved in that one.
And the respondent is not involved in that one, but we want to make sure that stays that way. And these are all things that my client has been, deeply involved in for years. And the whole reason she got the PPO was because respondent was using these coalitions, collaboratives, and things to send messages, basically harass the petitioner.
Okay. Now, you also mentioned some emails. Are these in the nature of group emails that have been sent out that have included Ms. Sutliff?
Yes, so the emails I'm referring to, the respondent, my understanding is she has been replying to emails. Ms. Sutliff was in the group of people that was replied to, but she also did not, it was not part of her job or anything that she needed to be a part of.
Okay, I see. So they've been group replies sent by Miss Russell that intentionally or unintentionally have wound up in the inbox of uh, Miss Sutliff. And further, your argument is, well, this isn't necessary for Miss Russell to weigh in on these issues. They're I mean, this is an extra or a social activity, not a professional activity.
Well, I won't say that. I won't say that's not. I would say it is professional activity, but it's more of like a volunteer stipend work type. It's not an official job title. My client has worked years on building these things to help early education and homeless people and people that are in need. So it doesn't fall under a specific job, but she does receive stipends for these. Yeah, she does receive income,
And I'm on contract.
and she is also on contract.
Okay, I see. Your client is, but Miss Russell is not, as far as you know, it's not her source of income.
Well, I believe that there is one that she has a contract as well. And she literally went on contract here recently when she started harassing my client.
Okay, and that's the Great Start?
Yes.
Okay, and I guess like in a case like that, it's almost like a shared workplace in that case. Is there a way that I can have that Ms. Russell can participate and do her work, whatever it might be for Great Start, and not come into contact with your client?
I don't know.
There is not.
No, my client says no.
Okay, all right. And obviously she didn't hire Miss Russell. It's rather someone else hired her, and now they both are potentially getting some stipend or contract work from Great Start.
I would just like to reiterate the whole reason my client got a PPO was because the respondent started joining all these things to further harass the petitioner. Like my client has been doing this kind of work for years, and then the respondent has not. This is all brand new. So to say that she's heavily involved in these things, it's really to harass my client.
All right. And when you say harass, has the some of the contact that's been responsive or in these emails or Zoom meetings been harassment, or is it just simply contact?
I would say it's more contact. I didn't see anything in particular that I would say is harassment, but I would say the problem is my client is afraid to open up more at these Zoom meetings because she doesn't want the respondent knowing anything about her kids or where they're going or what they're doing. To kind of protect, the confidentiality of her family.
I see. In the context of participating in some meetings that are on Zoom,
Yes.
that information might be revealed.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I understand what's being asked here. Let me swear in Miss Russell, and then I'll ask her to respond, and I'll let you know, Miss Russell, after you're sworn in, then Ms. Bueno will have the opportunity to cross-examine you on any statements that you make, and I'll have some follow-up questions, thereby to get your side of the story. So, Ms. Russell, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. What's your response on these meetings and email lists that you participate in? It's alleged here by the respondent that, your sole basis for participating is to access her and information about her. What's your response? I mean, is that correct? Could I cut you out of those things in this PPO and not have any effect on you? What's your response?
Absolutely not. I've been in early childhood in Kent County for over 20 years. I have a master's degree from Aquinas College in education. I have been on several different committees, collaboratives, and various teaching jobs with community outreach for over 20 years in Kent County. I actually am the one who helped Kara get some of those positions early on when I was teaching full time. When I had my son last year, I quit teaching for a while. I was experiencing postpartum depression. And so, in order to get some income as a single mother, I did join some different collaboratives. Kara and I were best friends for 7 years. She was my daycare provider. And so, when I was telling her that I was looking for stipend work or money that I could make that worked around my kids' schedule, and I still have all the emails from this, she is actually the one who sent me the information trying to get me on one of the collaboratives. With the Great Start Collaborative, I've been a Great Start teacher for over 10 years. So I've been doing this work actually much longer. As far as the Mitten Mamas and the Mishweg, I've never been a part of those committees. That's one of Kara's best friends who is the owner of that nonprofit. I've never been a part of that. I did reach out to her while Kara and I were still best friends, and I asked her if she was looking for any more mothers to join what they call like a Mitten Mama committee. And at that time, Meredith had kind of told me like what the process was to get started on that. Um, so I was served this PPO by Kara's ex-husband, who she is still currently with. And being since being served with this PPO order, I have abided by every single piece of the PPO order. In the original PPO order on the other line, Kara had asked that I not be able to join any stipend work that she was a part of, but you had not approved that portion of it. So like in my opinion, like I have not now, nor have I ever been a threat to Kara Sutliff. She was my childcare provider and my best friend and actually a coworker for several years. When I decided to quit using her for childcare, she was angry about that. She said things like, "What, I'm not good enough for you," and just different things. It was a personal matter there. When I received the PPO, everything in that PPO was completely false. I had proof that none of that had happened and that I actually am the one who ended our friendship because it was very toxic.
I
And so
can
I
just
took it to
pause you, Miss Russell, but you never filed, it doesn't, well, I don't have the file in front of me. Did you ever file an objection to the PPO?
I did. I filed to terminate the PPO. And so that was in front of Judge Christensen. While
And
we were
he
in
must have left it in place then.
Yes, so while we were in court, and I have the transcripts of that, while we were in court, he had said several times that there was absolutely nothing that warranted a PPO and that everything that Kara was saying was not any form of harassment. There was never any proof shown from either side. At the very end of the court hearing, Kara got her friend, who is Meredith, one of the people or the person who runs the Mitten Mama Migawesh, to stand up and testify. She was never sworn in, but she testified that I harassed her, but she had no proof of it. What I did do is send her screenshots of the message between me and Kara where Kara was being really like maliciously rude to me.
Your
For-
Honor, Respondent is treating this like another motion to terminate.
Yeah, no, okay, and I am getting caught up a little bit here because all of this is new to me, and obviously we're not going to terminate the hearing, but I mean, I guess what you're saying is, in any case, some testimony got delivered at the that hearing in front of Judge Christensen, and he ultimately left the PPO in place.
He
yeah,
actually,
And
so
that's
when
really
he
where we stand today, I guess. And given that, I've got to make a determination today what activities the PPO should bar and what it shouldn't bar. So, all right. And I mean, I guess what I'm hearing from you, Ms. Russell, you got to explain to me. You said some of these collaborations are how do they earn income?
So there's stipend work. However, Judge, at our last court hearing, Miss Bueno Kara's lawyer, who's also her long-term and long-time personal friend, they had requested that I paid lawyer fees at that time, and the judge had said no. I chose at that time to withdraw from both collaboratives. I have 2 other full-time jobs. I am not part of either of those collaboratives and haven't been since the end of October. I also haven't joined any Zooms since October because I withdrew. The only emails that I've responded to is for work that I did with a company called Be Heard Productions, where Kara actually sent me the emails and screenshots of me and my kids. I am taking this to Michigan Court of Appeals because I feel she's harassing me. She's asking me for lawyer fees for her good friend Melinda over there. But I'm not the one taking this to court, she is. So I just feel like I'm the one being harassed, actually. And our
Well, and
friendship
if I could
ended.
just pause you, it sounds like if I were to add then, no joint presence on Zoom, that it wouldn't harm you at this point, because you've discontinued participation on the forums where you were together on Zoom.
So yes and no. So I still do work with Great Start for one of my full-time positions. And because Kara is actually a parent representative on these collabs, if she's ever to join one of these meetings, this is a very big group in Kent County for early childhood, which is my profession. And so there are chances that she could be on a Zoom where I'm on it as well. But like I said, since getting served with this PPO, I have absolutely never done anything outside of what the PPO allows. And it really affected my income. Our children go to the same school. I'm no longer allowed to attend in-person events with my daughter because her son goes there as well and she might be there. So it's actually affecting and did affect my income and my ability to be there for my daughter who does not have a father. Her father passed away. So as a single mom, I can't do the things that I typically do as a professional in the city, which I'm just saying, okay, and waiting for this PPO to run its course. Unless, taking it to Michigan Court of Appeals, I can get it dropped there. But I just feel like me not joining the West Michigan Perinatal Quality Collaborative, which is what it's actually called, and then also the Great Start Family Collaborative. Those are two different collaboratives in the city that I will continue to do work with. I'm just no longer a parent rep with them. I'm actually employed by them now.
And those are Great Start. And what's the other one?
The West Michigan Perinatal Quality Collaborative.
Okay, yeah. Perinatal, is that's after delivery, right?
Yeah, before and after. We do work
Okay.
for pregnant and new moms.
Got it. And your roles in both of those collaboratives aren't necessarily as a stipend or a paid volunteer, but you participate in them. What's your role?
So I'm a teacher, a full-time teacher for the Great Start Family Collaborative, or
Okay.
the Great Start Collaborative has different sectors. And then for West Michigan Perinatal Quality Collaborative, I'm doing work with them on postpartum depression for our city because I experienced postpartum depression. And so they had asked me to do some work and partner with them. So I'm no longer a parent rep for either.
Okay. All right. And in that, I mean, as far as you know, at least in the postpartum work that you're doing with the perinatal group, that you wouldn't have anything that would bring you into contact with Petitioner here.
Unfortunately, I would. Her and I are both doing things. We made a video basically where 5 people in Kent County stories were shared. This is the email that I've responded to. So Kara sent an email a few days ago saying, screenshotting a picture of my family and other families and sending it to me. And my response was, I'm so grateful to be part of this collaborative, although this, is not a flattering screenshot of my family. And it wasn't directed towards her at all. It said to West Michigan Perinatal Quality Collaborative participants. I have not had any contact with Kara. I don't wish to have any contact with Kara, which is why I ended our friendship. And I've never been in trouble in my life. I've never had a PPO in my life. The reason I took this to be terminated is because I do not agree with anything. I understand why the PPO was granted, because what she said in the PPO, if I were a judge, I would grant it as well. However, they were completely false statements, and she never gave any kind of proof during our court, during our, court to get it terminated. So Christensen approved that the PPO stay in place and be extended after Kara's best friend got up and spoke as if I was one of her
Right.
employees. I was
Well, and that's
never
kind of
able to
water
respond.
under the bridge, as it were. As far as the proceeding in front of me goes, I'll
Yeah.
honor the ruling of Judge Christensen. I'm not going to redo it. So, however, I do have to decide where we go from here. So, all right, I'll let Ms. Bueno ask any questions she might have at this time.
I just have a couple questions. You mentioned that you've been with Great Start. You've been a teacher with Great Start for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Is that different than Great Start Family Coalition?
So it's all under one umbrella. The Great Start Family Coalition is just a sector.
So would it be possible for you to be a part of Great Start in a different sector other than the Family Coalition?
I am. Yes, but sometimes we do collaborative work.
But okay, so I mean, would it be possible for you just to not do the collaborative work and just do the other sections that aren't part of the Family Coalition?
Unfortunately, no, because it's my job. So if I'm asked to participate in those, I have to.
Okay, when you say job, are you referring to a contract?
Yes, a contract.
Now, you mentioned that you've been on several committees over the years.
Yes, I have.
How many committees have you been on?
I really couldn't tell you. The Learning Disabilities Association of West Michigan, the West Michigan Perinatal Quality Collaborative, obviously, the Great Start, the ESL Collaborative. I was the president for the Aquinas College Early Childhood Association. There's been lots over the last 20 years.
So you're saying there's plenty of other collaboratives you could go on that are not the ones that we've listed?
This is my full-time job and my livelihood. And I'm not harassing Kara in any type of way, shape, or form, or talking to her.
Yes or no? You just
No.
listed a bunch of other collaboratives. You're saying that you cannot go on those other collaboratives instead of the ones that are listed in our motion to modify.
No, I cannot.
Why not?
I am no longer a student at Aquinas College. I am a graduate.
Okay. And so are you saying these are the only, this collaborative and coalition are the only places that you can actually do your, is it early education work with the community?
For my current job, yes.
How are you hired? If you're an employee with them, how's that your job? How are you hired?
I've put in an application and I had an interview with a panel and they hired me.
Hey, wouldn't it be possible to tell them that you could do other sections of other sections of the Great Start instead of the Family Coalition?
Sometimes we have to do collaborative meetings, like I stated several times. I don't get to choose that. I'm not the director.
Are there other people who could do it in your place so that way you're not present on
I am not. I can't answer that because I don't know.
I have no other questions.
All right, thank you. Any follow-ups you would like to explain more thoroughly, Ms. Russell?
Yeah, I guess just that Kara's friend Melinda had asked for lawyer fees last time as well and was denied those lawyer fees.
It's not going to be before, at least that's not, Ms. Bueno, does your current motion ask for attorney fees?
It does, because like I said, since the PPO, she has been going to Zoom meetings and emails and I guess there were Zoom meetings.
But I haven't harassed at all.
Okay, and I take it, Ms. Russell, you're opposed to paying those?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, here's what I'm going to do for today, and I kind of shoehorn this hearing in between other hearings, so I apologize for the lack of time or the brevity of the hearing when I suspect there's probably more testimony and things we could take today, but I don't also have the whole file in front of me. Is I will take the request to modify the the PPO under advisement. That is, it won't be modified right now. However, I will consider it and issue a written opinion whether or not I'm going to modify it and why I did so or don't do so. And I'll also rule on the question of attorney fees at that same time once I'm able to review the written file. Is there anything else that we must do today from your opinion, Ms. Bueno?
No.
Okay. All right, Ms. Russell?
No, Your Honor, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, thank you both for your, very civil deportment and conduct decorum today. I greatly appreciate that in the context of the court. And like you say, I will review the written file, take it under advisement, and issue a written opinion. I'll endeavor to get that out next week, because that's going to be my last chance before I take a couple of weeks off for the holidays here. However, if it doesn't get done in the next week, it could be as long as 30 days at the outside. So that's kind of the timeline. Otherwise, just continue to observe the PPO as it stands currently. So with that, we're concluded. Thank you.